Dylan Cease fired a dominant complete-game shutout to headline a wild Saturday across the majors, while the Cubs erupted for 11 runs in Pittsburgh and the Marlins' losing streak hit double digits. The Kansas City Royals stole one on the road, edging the Detroit Tigers 3-2 in a game decided by the long ball. Salvador Perez and Nick Lofton each went deep for Kansas City, matching a solo shot from Detroit's Howie Lee that briefly tied things up. But the Royals' power was enough to hold on, backed by a bullpen that got the job done. Daniel Lynch-Rummon worked a scoreless inning to pick up the win, and closer Alex Lange slammed the door with a clean save to lock down the two-run margin. Vinny Pasquantino was the offensive engine for Kansas City, going 3 for 4 at the plate, a multi-hit line that's exactly the kind of streaming caliber performance fantasy managers look for out of the KC lineup. Detroit got contributions from Zach McKinstry, Riley Green, Kerry Carpenter and Colt Keith, but the Tigers couldn't string together enough to answer the Royals' power surge, falling in a game that came down to a handful of swings. C.J. Abrams was a one-man wrecking crew as the Washington Nationals downed the Arizona Diamondbacks 5-3 at home. Abrams went 3 for 4 with a home run and 3 RBI, and added a stolen base for good measure, a monster fantasy line that covers nearly every category in one game. He wasn't the only Nationals runner causing havoc either. Jacob Young swiped 2 bags of his own, giving Washington a pair of multi-category threats on the bases in the same lineup. Foster Griffin battled through 6.2 innings, allowing 3 earned runs while striking out 2, before handing things to Clayton Beeter, who nailed down the save. Arizona got a solid day from Ildemaro Vargas, who extended his hitting streak to 7 straight games with another knock, along with hits from Tim Tawa, Ryan Waldschmidt, Gabriel Morneau and James McCann, but the Diamondbacks' offense couldn't keep pace with Abrams and the Nationals' multifaceted attack. Washington improves behind one of the best all-around performances of the day. The San Francisco Giants blew the doors off the Los Angeles Angels, cruising to a 9-2 win behind a huge night from Rafael Devers. Devers went 3 for 4 with a home run and 4 RBI, a monster fantasy stat line that did most of the damage by itself, and he got company in the power department from Young-Hoo Lee, who also left the yard. Robbie Ray was outstanding on the mound, tossing 6 shutout innings while striking out 5 to pick up the win and set the tone early. San Francisco got hits up and down the lineup. Casey Schmidt, Heliot Ramos, Drew Gilbert, Willie Adams and Luis Ariz all reached base safely, turning this into a laugher by the middle innings. The Angels managed some offense from Jose Siri, Mike Trout, Joe Adell, Vaughn Grissom, Nolan Schanuel, and Logan O'Hoppe, but with Ray dealing and Devers driving in for, Los Angeles never had an answer in a lopsided road loss. Dylan Cease delivered the signature pitching performance of the day, throwing a complete game shutout with 12 strikeouts as the Toronto Blue Jays blanked the Boston Red Sox 6-0. Cease went the full 9 innings, allowing 0 earned runs while carving up the Red Sox lineup for the win, a dominant, ace-level outing that set the tone for Toronto's road route. The offense backed him up in a big way. George Springer got things started with a home run, while Ernie Clement turned in a multi-hit, multi-category day, going 3 for 4 with an RBI and a stolen base, the kind of well-rounded line fantasy managers love to see. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. matched Clement's output at the plate, also going 3 for 4 with 2 RBI to power the Blue Jays' attack. Toronto got additional hits from Dalton Varsho, Andres Gimenez, Nathan Lukes and Kazuma Okamoto as the lineup put together a complete team effort. Boston, meanwhile, was completely shut down. Andrew Monasterio was the lone bright spot, extending his own hitting streak to 7 straight games even in a losing cause, but the Red Sox as a team never threatened. It was a statement win for Toronto, punctuated by one of the best pitching performances of the entire day. The San Diego Padres kept the Miami Marlins' misery going, winning 7-2 to extend Miami's losing streak to 10 straight games. Jackson Merrill led the Padres' offense, going 3 for 4, while San Diego ran wild on the bases with steals from Luis Rengifo and Jake Cronenworth. J.P. Sears got the win despite going just 3.1 innings, striking out 3 before the bullpen took over and shut the door on Miami's comeback hopes. The one bright spot for the Marlins was Esteury Ruiz, who swiped 2 bags in the loss, a real fantasy-relevant stolen baseline even on a night his team came up short, with Otto Lopez chipping in another steal of his own. Jacob Marcy and Kyle Stowers also had hits for Miami, but it wasn't nearly enough offense to stop the bleeding. San Diego also got hits from Freddie Fermin, Manny Machado, Ty France, Xander Bogaerts, and Jace Bowen as the Padres pulled away. For Miami, a 10th consecutive loss is now a full-blown skid with no end in sight. The New York Yankees held off the Philadelphia Phillies 3-1, powered by home runs from Jason Dominguez and Austin Wells. Ryan Weathers turned in a strong start, going 5.2 innings and allowing just one earned run while striking out 7 to earn the win, and David Bednar closed it out with a clean save. Jose Caballero, Paul Goldschmidt, and Cody Bellinger also reached base for the Yankees in the road win. For Philadelphia, JT Realmuto kept his season-long hot streak alive, collecting a hit to push his hitting streak to an impressive 12 straight games, one of the longest active streaks in baseball right now. Kyle Schwarber and Trea Turner also had hits for the Phillies, but with Dominguez and Wells going deep and New York's bullpen locking things down late, Philadelphia couldn't complete the comeback in a tight, low-scoring loss at home. Tampa Bay Rays blanked the Cleveland Guardians 3-0 behind a strong start for Nick Martinez, who tossed 6 shutout innings and struck out 5 to pick up the win. Brian Baker closed things out with a clean save to seal the shutout. It was a balanced night at the plate for Tampa Bay, with Richie Palacios, Chandler Simpson, Hunter Fiducia, Jonathan Aranda, Yandy Diaz, Victor Mesa Jr. and Junior Caminero all picking up hits, even without any home runs or standout individual stat lines to headline the box score. Cleveland's offense never got going against Martinez and the Rays pitching staff. Jose Ramirez, Steven Kwan, Travis Bazzana, and Gabriel Arias managed hits, but the Guardians couldn't push a single run across. It was a quiet, business-like win for Tampa Bay, the kind built on pitching and just enough timely contact rather than fireworks. The Chicago Cubs put on an offensive clinic, blowing out the Pittsburgh Pirates 11-0 behind a huge night from Pete Crow Armstrong. Crow Armstrong went 4 for 5 with a home run, 3 RBI at a stolen base, while Michael Busch nearly matched him, going 3 for 6 with 2 RBI of his own. Shota Imanaga was excellent on the mound, working 6 shutout innings with 4 strikeouts to earn the win, and Javier Assad closed out an unusually long 3-inning save to finish it off. The Cubs also got a stolen base from Pedro Ramirez and hits from Miguel Amaya, Seiya Suzuki, James Triantos, Dansby Swanson, and Nico Hoerner as the lineup battered Pittsburgh from top to bottom. The lone silver lining for the Pirates was Paul Skeens, who was electric despite the loss, striking out 11 over 5.1 innings in a dominant if hard-luck start. Jake Mangum, Henry Davis, Ryan O'Hearn, and Nick Gonzalez had hits for Pittsburgh, but with the Cubs pouring on 11 runs, Skeens' brilliance on the mound went for naught in a lopsided defeat. The Baltimore Orioles edged the Atlanta Braves 3-2 in a game defined by home runs and a strong Atlanta start that ultimately fell just short. Gunnar Henderson went deep for Baltimore and Ozzie Albies answered with a home run of his own for the Braves, but it was the Orioles who came out on top. Bryce Elder was sharp for Atlanta, striking out 8 over 5 innings, but the bullpen behind him couldn't hold the lead. Yennier Cano picked up the win for Baltimore with a scoreless inning of relief, and Pete Alonso added a stolen base in the win. Taylor Ward, Dylan Beavers, Jackson Halliday, and Christian Encarnacion Strand also had hits for the Orioles. Michael Harris, Roman II, Mauricio Dubon, Drake Baldwin, Eli White, and Mike Yastrzemski picked up hits for Atlanta, but Albies' homer wasn't enough to offset Baltimore's late-game execution in a tight one-run finish. The Minnesota Twins shut out the Athletics 2-0 in a pitching-driven, low-scoring affair. Taylor Rogers picked up the win with 2 scoreless innings and 2 strikeouts out of the bullpen, and Yoendrys Gomez closed it out with a clean save. Ryan Cradler chipped in a stolen base for the Twins, who got hits from Victor Caratini, Alan Roden, Royce Lewis, and Trevor Larnach in a game that never needed much offense to hold up. The Athletics couldn't find any answers against Minnesota's pitching, with only Jeff McNeil and Tyler Soderstrom managing hits in the loss. There wasn't much drama here, no home runs, no multi-hit breakouts, just a clean, efficient win for Minnesota built entirely on shutting the Athletics down and playing tight, mistake-free baseball for 9 innings. It's the kind of workmanlike victory that won't make highlight reels but keeps the Twins rolling in the win column. The Houston Astros topped the Chicago White Sox 4-1, powered by a strong start from Hunter Brown, who went 7 shutout innings and struck out 7 to earn the win. Josh Hader came on to lock down the save. Jeremy Pena paced the Houston offense, going 3 for 4, while Isaac Paredes and Lamonte Wade Jr. also contributed hits. The one notable streak note from this game belongs to Yordan Alvarez, whose 10-game hitting streak came to an end in the loss, a cold night that snapped one of the longer active streaks in baseball. Chicago's Sean Burke was outstanding despite the defeat, striking out 10 over 6 innings with a hard-luck start that deserved a better result. Tristan Peters, Munetaka Murakami, Carlson Montgomery, Braden Montgomery and Miguel Vargas had hits for the White Sox, but Brown and the Astros bullpen made it stand up in a solid road win. Milwaukee Brewers outlasted the Colorado Rockies 8-5 in a slugfest led by a huge night from Cooper Pratt. Pratt went 3 for 3 with a home run, 3 RBI and a stolen base, arguably the most complete individual performance of the day. He wasn't alone on the bases either. Jake Bauers and David Hamilton also swiped bags as Milwaukee pressured Colorado all game long. Robert Gasser worked 6 innings and allowed 2 earned runs while striking out 4 to pick up the win, and Trevor Megill got the save despite recording just 1 out, a shaky final frame that still got the job done. Jackson Chourio, Christian Yelich, William Contreras, Bryce Turang and Luis Lara also had hits for the Brewers in the high-scoring win. For Colorado, Jake McCarthy extended his hitting streak to 12 straight games, matching the longest active streak in the league, and got support from Cole Carrick, Tyler Freeman, Hunter Goodman, Ezequiel Tovar and Kyle Carros, but the Rockies' pitching couldn't contain Pratt and the Brewers' attack in a wild back-and-forth game. The Los Angeles Dodgers held on for a 4-3 win over the New York Mets, powered by a Kyle Tucker home run and a strong start from Yoshinobu Yamamoto. Yamamoto worked 6 innings, allowing just 1 earned run while striking out 5 to pick up the win, and Brock Stewart closed it out with a save to protect the 1-run margin. Freddie Freeman was the offensive standout, going 3 for 4, while Tommy Edman added a stolen base. Dalton Rushing, Teoscar Hernandez, Andy Pages, and Mookie Betts also had hits for Los Angeles. The Mets pushed back with Hitoem Bobachet, Tyrone Taylor, Francisco Alvarez, Brett Beatty and Carson Bench, keeping it close throughout, but couldn't complete the comeback as the Dodgers' pitching and Tucker's power made the difference in a tight finish. Louis Cardinals blanked the Cincinnati Reds 7-0 behind a dominant start from Andre Palante, who went 7 innings, allowed 0 earned runs, and struck out 8 to pick up the win. Alec Burleson led the offense, going 3 for 4 with an RBI, while Jordan Walker, Brian Torres, Blaze Jordan, Masson Wynn, and Ivan Herrera all chipped in hits assist. Louis piled up runs. Cincinnati's lone bit of activity came from J.J. Bleday, who swiped a bag and also had a hit, along with Ellie De La Cruz and Sal Stewart, but the Reds never threatened against Palante's dominant outing. It was a complete team win for Cint. Louis, with strong pitching and a deep lineup combining for a comfortable shutout. The 7-run margin put the game out of reach early, and the Cardinals cruised the rest of the way. The Texas Rangers routed the Seattle Mariners 7-1 behind a dominant start from Nathan Eovaldi, who worked 7 innings, allowed just 1 earned run, and struck out 8 to earn the win. Wyatt Langford went 3 for 4 with an RBI, and Jock Pederson matched him with a 3 for 5 night while also stealing a base, a well-rounded performance in the middle of the Rangers lineup. Evan Carter, Alejandro Osuna, Austin Wins, Nicky Lopez and Ezequiel Duran all added hits as Texas built a comfortable cushion. Seattle got some offense from Randy Arizona, J.P. Crawford, Colt Emerson and Luke Raley, but couldn't put together enough against Eovaldi and the Rangers' deep lineup. It was a complete win for Texas, strong starting pitching paired with contributions up and down the order in a lopsided home victory. 2 players are riding identical hot streaks, JT Realmuto of the Phillies and Jake McCarthy of the Rockies have both hit safely in 12 straight games. On the flip side, Yordan Alvarez saw his 10-game hitting streak snapped in Houston's win over Chicago. And the Marlins' skid keeps growing. Miami has now dropped 10 straight games after falling to San Diego, one of the longest losing streaks in baseball this season. Stolen bases were the story for fantasy managers today, with Jacob Young of the Nationals and Esteury Ruiz of the Marlins both swiping 2 bags apiece. Huge speed contributions even with Miami on the losing end. On the power side, C.J. Abrams 3 for 4, HR 3 RBI and Rafael Devers 3 for 4, HR 4 RBI delivered monster all-around lines worth starting in any format, and Vinny Pasquantino added a quiet multi-hit game of his own. That's a wrap on today's action across the majors. Hit subscribe so you never miss a recap, and we'll see you back here tomorrow.